Here we go, Season 4, Episode 1, the Renegade Aviator Show is back. This is our new format with video, so if you're listening on our podcast platforms, you can see the video on any of our video social media platforms. Let's rock this. Let's do it.
Debrief.
Not debrief, brief.
Oh, I'm sorry. Post-brief.
What is the word of the day?
Don't let this suck.
Read it off the wall behind you. Don't suck too much.
Don't suck too bad.
All right. Checklist, right? Renegade Aviator checklist. Our first episode. So we've got our shots all done, right?
Yes.
You know how to work the camera?
Yes.
She does not know how to work the camera, I guarantee you.
Kind of.
We just by ourselves. We have nobody to work the third camera. We don't know how to move the airplane out of the front of the hangar without a tug because the tug is broken.
Yes. We're going to push.
It's our first trial at this. So yeah, don't suck too much. But we've got all of our shots lined up. And for those of you watching, you'll be able to tell in the first 5 seconds of this video is that I'm not I'm not really expert in videos. But we do have a plan, and that's half the battle, right? I just covered your face with the plan. We have a plan. Do you have any questions?
Do I have any questions?
You're the crew member. Do you have any questions?
I say let's just go and do it.
Right. This is why she's not a pilot. Just go and do it. We're going to go and do it, but we got to have a plan. So this is the pre-brief part. Every one of these shows should have somewhat of a format. The formats will change. And the post-brief on this whole thing, every time we do a flight, we do a pre-brief, we do a run-through of what we're going to be doing, and we remind ourselves we need to lose some weight because we're getting older. And then the second thing, or the end part of this whole thing, is when we're done, you're going to debrief me, not her, me. You're going to debrief me. What do you like? What don't you like? What should I do better? You're not going to embarrass me. I'm already embarrassed enough. I'm outside of my comfort zone big time. I don't have any problems flying airplanes, but I do not like being on video. I imagine myself much younger and way more handsome. I am pretty handsome. What?
Top Gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he's imagining.
I'm Tom Cruise.
That's right. Okay. Stop.
All right, that's enough of this.
Yeah.
It'll get better, or maybe not.
It's enough. Bye.
Ha ha ha! Wait until you see this. Our latest addition to the Renegade Aviator, the land assault vehicle. We can't always bring the jet, but we can bring this land assault vehicle to more places than ever before. Look for the Renegade Aviator on a public road or freeway real soon. We're kind of hard to miss, and we would love to say hello. Stop it. She's pretty on the outside, but she's kind of ghetto on the inside. Watch how we start this pig. It's like launching a Russian missile. Waiting. We have some really cool sponsors that are getting behind what we're doing, coming to see you at a local airport and somewhere besides an air show. We'll see you at the air shows, but we want to see you in your local hometowns, your local airports. These are the heartbeat of aviation in America. So we are talking to some really cool sponsors, and one of the big reasons we have a really huge rolling billboard for Renegade Aviator is we want to serve and promote the sponsors that support us. So look for this land assault vehicle. Come on up and shake our hands. We are looking forward to meeting each and every one of you. There she is. Mrs. Renegade Aviator, former call sign Tiki Puka, but that is another story for another time. Current call sign Bruiser. Stay tuned on this show for details on how she earned that one.
Cheese.
There's just so much to see at local airports. I wanted to figure out a way to get to more places and to make you the star of the show. So look for this rolling billboard that I'm driving. Find us on social media. Go to our website and keep in touch. I can figure out cool places to go all by myself, but I would much rather hear your recommendations as well.
Here we are, Renegade Aviator, Minden Tahoe Airport.
I fly corporate jets for a living, and it's been tough to book air shows and get the time off from work to do these. Responsibilities, right? We got to be responsible. Hopefully that'll change soon, but in the meantime, since I hate excuses, I had to figure out what can I do to stay visible and relevant with the limited time that I have available. So no excuses. You'll hear me say that a lot. I'll say, so what? Show up and be excellent. It'll make sense as we go, I promise. We drove all the way to Minden.
That's right.
All the way there. Laura's not in a good mood.
Fine. It's a beautiful day here in Minden. It's nice.
So part of what we're doing this for, ladies and gentlemen, is look, come on out and support your local airports. At the very least, don't screw with your local airport. There's a whole lot of stuff that these local airports bring to the local community. Over 130 jobs. Millions and millions of dollars of income, billions nationwide. But this airport alone, this small little airport of Minden, Nevada, gives about $47 million of revenue to the local community. Not bad for a tiny little airport like this. And we're coming to airports all over the U.S. They're going to get better. Trust me. Won't they get better?
Yeah. These will get better.
If you saw the behind the scenes work. Hey, you know what? You want to sit there and say, oh, Costa, your videos suck. Go ahead. I don't care. Because you know what? Our goal for today was what? What's our goal for today, Laura?
Not to suck too bad.
Not to suck too bad. So
Yes.
that's just the way it is. But again, 80 years this airport's been here. It went through the Douglas County Airport, the Carson Valley Airport. I think Carson Valley Airport is what they called it first back in 1942. 80 years ago. We've got some photos we'll show you. You can see from the photos here. You know, it's been around for a while and it's still going. There's my buddy's business. I don't know if you can see it or not. See that behind me? He's not, HUD Aviation. He's not sponsoring me right now. So Alan, we may need to talk about a sponsorship. But let's see what we can find at this airport. Let's see what trouble we can get in. We're never sure. This is the first trial, the first episode. It is what it is. And I may, as I'm driving here, I may show you the back of the land assault vehicle. I don't know, can you see it? It's really ghetto right now.
Yep.
Circa,
There it is.
but circa 2000. So, although the outside looks really, really great, the inside looks shit. It looks like shit. We're
Time
gonna
to
fix it.
renovate.
Renovate. All right. Let's see what we can find. Let's see what trouble we can get into. We are right at the base of the Sierra Nevada mountains, right nearby beautiful Lake Tahoe, Nevada. An 80-year-old airport that's still going strong today. We'll take you through the hangars one trip. We'll take you past the most important part of any airport. And we'll see what we have around the airport, see who wants to talk to us today. Maybe nobody, maybe a lot. We'll find out.
Well, today's a quiet day at the airport, and many airports look empty, but there's a lot that goes on behind the veil, so to speak, that many of you never get to see. Airports generate high value for the community. Minden Tahoe Airport.com if you want to find out more about this airport. We're about 4,700 feet of elevation here. The airport has 3 runways, a large 7,400-foot runway, a 5,300-foot crosswind runway, and even a sod or dirt runway that's closed right now that's available for you tailwheel.
Okay, you stop it.
The airport sits on 990 acres. We have a full-service FBO in the field, my friends at HUD Aviation, that can handle large business jets and still serve the small airplane as well. We're only 30 minutes from beautiful South Lake Tahoe and just about 45 minutes south of the biggest little city, Reno, Nevada. I can't mention the Minden Tahoe Airport without mentioning soaring. We say that we put the FU in fuel, but we still love our non-fuel partners in aviation, the soaring community. Glider pilots from all over the world come here to Minden to ride the wave, the mountain waves that can have glider pilots flying for hours and many, many miles, all without fuel. Not a pilot? No worries. You can skydive here, take flight lessons, glider rides. You can go for the thrill of a lifetime flight in an aerobatic airplane. You don't need to be a pilot to come out to the airport.
And let me show you something as we turn around the corner here. Every airport should have this. What is it, Laura?
A restaurant.
The airport restaurant. Look at that. You know what? If you've got the opportunity, people tell me they can't see airports anymore. Find your local airport, find your local airport restaurant, and go in and tell them that the Renegade Aviator told you to come. But you want to meet pilots, you want to meet aviators, there you go, man. Tail Dragger Cafe, Minden, Nevada.
Tons of business is generated at local airports, and businesses serve the local communities. So jobs, tax revenue, emergency services, and opportunities for more than just aircraft owners and pilots. I said this earlier, 18 businesses, 400 aircraft, and $47 million of revenue is not bad for a small airport in a great community like Douglas County, Nevada, near Lake Tahoe. All this from its roots as a military airfield back in 1942. Business aviation is at an all-time high. Why fly into large passenger airports when business aircraft can fly directly to smaller airports like this all over our great nation? The USA is great, in part due to private aviation. People just like you and I with options other than airlines. You can buy your own airplane just for fun or personal travel, or you can build your business by the use of corporate aircraft. MindenTahoeAirport.com. Stop by and tell them that the Renegade Aviator sent you. We didn't find anybody on our surprise drive-by, but I have more stuff to show you. Oh, look, somebody is flying today.
Okay, Dave Costa, Renegade Aviator. We're doing a work day here at the hangar, and today I want to show you going through the brake system, or at least the brake lines on the TS-11 Iskra. So let's go outside to the hangar, leave my beautiful office with my, look at that. We're just like friends. All right, we'll go outside and take a look at the Iskra. There I am again. Look at that. There's another guy behind me. There's somebody walking. There's Ty. Say hi, Ty. All right. All right, there's Ty. He's doing work. I'm not doing any work. I'm just videoing. Look how neatly organized everything is. Isn't it amazing? So what we're doing, it's hard to see, is we're pulling off these hard lines. You can see there, a bunch of hard lines that are the brake lines on the Iskra. So I get right in the shade here. Yeah, you can tell. I'm not the great videographer that I thought I was. So there you go. Those hard lines are what the Polish use in place of a flexible brake line. So what Ty did is he took all that off the gear, and the gear there, they all mount the landing gear. I'll show you the other side later. And then what he's doing is cleaning everything and putting O-rings, which you can see on the ground here. Those O-rings go inside of that brake fitting. It's really kind of ingenious. So there's no way, these things are bulletproof. I think these have been on there how long, Ty?
25 years.
25 years. 25 years without leaking, and now they're starting to leak, so we're going to replace those. All right, well, this is the other gear. So if you look underneath here, I'm showing you the side that we didn't take apart, or Ty didn't take apart, and it's really hard to see, but these are the hard lines right in here, and they go into these fittings, comes around on the gear torque links, and so that is what Ty is disassembled on the other side of the airplane. Everybody wants to help at the airplane, but this is what you end up doing. Is it fun, Ty?
It's stellar.
This is the oh, it'd be great if I could be part of the crew of Renegade Aviator. It'll be
Dave,
so,
hand me a wrench.
it'll be so much fun to be part of the crew. Yeah, we have a problem with harassment of crew.
It's highly encouraged.
Yeah, highly encouraged.
And if you're not here, you get mocked even more.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that. Oh, look how clean he made it.
No, that's paint.
Oh, it's paint. Yeah. You know what? People that import these aircraft into the U.S., well, half of these experimental jets that are out there are just not well maintained. So it's just a quick snippet today of doing normal maintenance on a TS-11 Iskra jet. And this is actually our backup jet. Nice, beautiful weather. And in true fashion, we put the FU in fuel. If that just offended you, too bad. Ty's offended, I'm sure. I'm going to actually get a video of him putting these together in a second.
So here's one, here's two, and then the third is over here on the other seal. And if you get a seal into the middle, you got to get it out because that's where your fluid goes in.
Plug it.
Goes in through here. So that's, if you only put one seal in and it went in the center, you got to take it out.
Yeah. Well, see, this is why I only train professionals.
So here's how you get it out. It's literally small
Pick.
Not even that. But if you can see, the seal is actually worn flat.
But it works. Like I said, these things have been in there for
It
years.
still worked, but this is where your leak is. This
Yeah.
stayed conformed to the fitting, but this is what wore out on the shaft.
All right.
And you can actually see it. You can actually see how, compared to a new seal.
If you had a real camera operator, maybe you... Oh, there, look at that zoom, baby. Yeah, it just got blurry. This is why Dave Costa is not a good video guy. Very cool. Shut up, show up, be excellent. Is that what it is, Ty? Shut up, show up, and be excellent.
Every day.
Yeah, shut up, Costa.
Every day.
Every fucking day. Okay, quick update. We had a bring your wife to work day recently at the airport, and we had a bit of an accident.
Yeah.
Small accident. What happened?
I was running toward the car, forgot the airplane wing was there, and smacked into the wing with my nose and fell down. Did some
She's
damage.
healed now,
I am.
partially.
Yeah, it's still a little bit, you can see my nose.
Still has mental problems from it, but other than that.
Yeah. I was running toward the car with my head down and smacked into the wing and fell all the way back on my back like this and laid here and stunned for a minute. It was horrible. And blood and was coming out of my nose, my head. It was terrible.
Be safe.
What's the lesson we learned at the airport?
Always keep your head up. Don't run.
Don't run.
Yeah.
There's good news, ladies and gentlemen. We have a solution. And the solution is...
Pool noodles. Here we are in the Minden hangar. This is an L-39 Albatross, and the name of this airplane is Heartless.
We found one of the airplanes that I'm going to be doing some test flying on. This is an L-39 Albatross, as my lovely assistant has already promoted to you. And we're here at the Minden Airport still. So if you've watched the rest of the video, we were looking around for people in their hangars, people that were looking to have us come and interview them. So why am I doing this? Why are we standing in front of an airplane? Here's the intent of what I want to do. I want to come to an airport near you. I want to see what your airplanes look like. I want to talk to you as an owner of an aircraft, you as a pilot of an aircraft, and I want to learn about what's out at these local airports. So this airplane right here is an airplane that I happen to be involved with. So I get to tell you a little bit about the airplane, and I'm not going to go in depth. Let me make a disclaimer. Let me flash disclaimer under my face right now. I am not going to be the world's greatest expert on the L-39 today. So some of you watching this video right now, you're going to sit there and look at me and go, oh, well, why doesn't Dave tell us about every little friggin' thing about the airplane? And guess what? Nobody cares. Do you care? Do you care? I'm looking at Laura. She says she doesn't care. But what I do want to do is for those of you, there may be some people watching right now that just like airplanes. And so they may say, that's really cool. The airplane looks really cool. Dave, get the hell out of my way so we can see the airplane better. And there's some of you that want to learn every single detail about the L-39. I'm going to hit somewhere in the middle of all this. Okay, so what's the plan? This airplane has not flown in over 16 years. So guess who gets to be the test pilot?
You.
Me. I get to be the test pilot. I love to be the test pilot. I test fly a lot of different airplanes. I've flown over 200 different makes and models of aircraft. I've been flying since 1979. Do your math, ladies and gentlemen. That makes me officially an old guy. And so I've been doing this a long time, and this is one of the airplanes that I'm grateful to be associated with. We're going to bring this aircraft back to flight status. I'm going to put a little clip on this video. You're going to see one of the ground engine test runs that we did on this. Long story short, the airplane's not ready to fly right now. Long story short, we've got a couple of problems with the airplane, and I'll show you some of those things very, very briefly. But this is a Czechoslovakian military aircraft. This is an Eastern Bloc trainer. This was the advanced trainer. This is what the Eastern Bloc pilots would fly in the military, although it doesn't look that way now. It's been painted in civilian colors. But this was a military advanced trainer before these pilots in the Soviet Union or the former Soviet Union and Romania and Czechoslovakia and yes, Ukraine have flown this before they went on to fly things like the MiG-21 or the Su-29s or any of the other types of Eastern Bloc aircraft. So it is a real military jet. You're looking at a real military jet brought into the U.S., easy to fly. So easy to fly that even a brand new pilot can fly this airplane. So when you look at guys like me that show up at airports, we get to fly really cool airplanes like this. You can do this. That's part of why I do this podcast. You can do what we do. You just need to figure out how to get here. So that's why I say, so what? Show up, be excellent. You show up enough times, you get involved in airplanes and stand around airplanes and stand around airports long enough, and you too can get to fly cool airplanes like that. Just insert large amounts of cash. Laura's laughing behind the camera. When I ask little kids, when I go into schools and I say, what makes an airplane fly? These little kids give me great answers. All kinds of scientific answers, all kinds of cool answers. There's one reality in aviation. What makes airplanes fly? I'm going to ask off camera.
Money.
Large, huge amounts of money. So if you have large amounts of money, you can fly an airplane. If you don't have large amounts of money, you better find somebody willing to help you, guide you, bring you along. That's part of why we do the podcast. So let's show you a little bit more about the L-39 Albatross made by Aero Vodochody from our friends in Czechoslovakia. Yep. It's a fighter jet. There's 2 ejection seats. You see them in there. These ejection seats are what we call cold. Cold seats mean they don't work. One engine, one single engine, an AI-25 engine, single engine aircraft. Tricycle landing gear. See these, what we call trailing link landing gear. I know I'm being real basic for you pilots. Trailing link landing gear means one thing. It makes every landing look really good. That's all you need to know. Anything more is bullshit. What's that in the corner? That is a Lear 31, by the way. We'll talk about that some other time.
The L-39 has a top speed of 466 miles an hour at an altitude of 38,000 feet for a range of 621 miles. Most guys who own these fly them at much lower altitudes due to regulatory issues like RVSM. Not going to explain it right now. And I never believe the advertised range. So we fly these aircraft with the term, quote, fuel critical in mind. It's okay to land with too much fuel, but considered really bad form to run out of it. We like to say the only time that you have too much fuel is when you're on fire.
The paint job on this is, I like to call it's a civilian paint job. You'll see a lot of these airplanes have military paint schemes that are all, not all, but a lot of them are very inaccurate. But this is an Airshow paint scheme. And there was the history of this aircraft. It was going to be part of an Airshow team. Rich guy with a lot of money bought a couple of these things, and they were going to fly an Airshow team with the L-39. It never really materialized, but this is a Reno air racer. It was flown by Mary Dilda back when the jet class at the Reno air races was it's kind of an invitation-only event, and Mary had flown in the T6 class, and she had the opportunity to fly this particular aircraft at the Reno air races before the jet class became a real class. Here you go. What does every good Russian jet or Eastern Bloc jet have is drip pans. This particular airplane had a bit of a problem, and on the video that I attached to this podcast, you'll see me doing an engine run. Well, shortly after or during that engine run, we had the fuel controller and the fuel pump start, excuse the language, pissing fuel all over the ground. So that cut short my test flight for that day. So that's why we have these drip pans under the aircraft.
The Aero Vodochody L-39 Albatross was designed and manufactured back in the 1960s. In order to keep up with modern demands of the military today, the aircraft is going under upgrades. The aircraft is so well known for its training capabilities that it's still in use in nearly 40 world air forces as their primary training aircraft.
How do you like my tail? Laura just laughed in the background. What are you looking at my tail for? What are you? You're staring at my tail. Anyway, you want to see up the back end of a jet engine? There you go. Single jet engine. Again, this is the AI-25. These engines have been fairly reliable, although now a lot of L-39s are being converted to put American engines, the TFE-731, in place of the AI-25. The AI-25 has a very short lifespan, about 1,000 hours for most of them. Some are a little bit different, but most have about 1,000-hour limit, and they're hard to get parts for. So the TFE-731 is, you'll hear it called the Garrett engine, you'll hear it called a number of different things, but that is the engine of choice for the guys that are modifying these aircraft. You know what the coolest thing about Eastern Bloc aircraft are? Big, huge, freaking inspection panels. So unlike a lot of Western or US jets, the Russian stuff, I say the Russian stuff, this is a Czech jet, so you smartasses that want to watch my podcast and tell me that Dave Costa, the Renegade Aviator, doesn't know what he's talking about, you may actually be right. But what I am looking at here is inside, and if we had smell-o-vision, you could smell the fuel. We removed the fuel controller and we removed the fuel pump, and of course those have been sent out for overhaul, but you can see inside. And one thing that's very clear about these Eastern Bloc aircraft is there is a lot of room to stick your hands in and actually work on the aircraft. So pretty cool stuff. You're going to have questions about these aircraft, and that's cool. You know what? I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has about any of the airplanes that we show you on the Renegade Aviator Show. So please comment, like, share, send me your information, send me your questions, and I will try my level-headed best to get back with each and every one of you. And for those of you that ask really, really good questions, I may even do you the courtesy of responding on my next episode and answering your questions, because I think the questions are great. I'm going to make another statement. I think a lot of you might want to correct things that I say because you're smarter than I am. That's great too. Show me how smart you are and correct what I said. Again, the best aviators realize that we're not experts in everything, but this baby will be under my control. We go up and do some test flying with it. We'll have video of it. And what I may do right now is show you what the inside of the cockpit looks like. That's the important spot, at least for those of us that fly. So let's hop up inside the front of this thing and give you a quick tour of what the cockpit of an L-39 looks like. Okay. Cockpit L-39 Albatross. I won't move the camera real fast just so you can get a look. I'll point out some stuff once I climb in. It has what appears to be an ejection seat. And you see the big red pin right there. It is an ejection seat, but on this particular aircraft, this ejection seat is cold, but you can see the parachute and the harness are together in the seat. Normally, the canopy, you see, it's what we call a clamshell canopy. You can see that it's open, it's extremely heavy, and it's designed to depart the aircraft. Here's the problem. About half or more, I would say way more than half of these aircraft have got the pyro deactivated. And so getting out of one of these jets is quite a bit different, and in my opinion, quite a bit more complicated than how the aircraft was originally designed to be used. So there is a factor as you quote unquote demilitarize these aircraft that we disable some of the key safety features, one of which is to be able to get out of the damn airplane when you have a problem. Those options are extremely more limited when you have a cold extraction system. So we've got a couple things here I just want to show you, and it's just going to be the basics. The control stick. But look at this right here. Can you see that? Most airplanes, most US airplanes have what we call toe brakes. And those are, if you look at my feet moving down below, right, there's little pedals down here that we use to control the aircraft. Most times in modern aircraft, or in US aircraft, those are toe brakes, which means I push the top of the pedal and actuate the brakes. On Eastern Bloc aircraft, the convention is this is your brake, believe it or not, just like a bicycle handbrake, and there is no nose wheel steering. So steering this aircraft on the ground is a function of rudder and brake. Throttles down here, we have a bunch of engine controls down here. We have the landing gear actuator, the landing gear switch as some might call it. All of my flight instruments, all of my engine instruments, navigation equipment, status indicators. These will light up as I'm flying. This is a G meter that tells me how many times the force of gravity I'm flying under for any given flight condition. Okay, I'll call this for now the engine group, but we got a couple of controls down here. We have the control to start what we call the Sapphire, which is, for those of you that fly corporate jets, it's like an APU. It's a small little jet turbine engine that provides air to start this engine, the main engine, which is the blue engine start. You'll press that button. Once your Sapphire fires up, you got your APU running, you can then start the main engine with the use of that button. I won't go through the start procedure. Down here, we've got the flap controls, and typical for this type of aircraft is flaps are in the flight condition, the takeoff condition, and the landing condition. And the flaps can be operated from either the front or the rear cockpit. You just push button with a light associated with it. Pretty simple stuff. You can see the throttle back here. On the throttle, I have a couple of controls. I've got a radio push to talk, and I've got a speed brake or air brake or dive brake. They're all called different things, but that's right there on the throttle itself. There's some other things I can't really show you with the camera. We already talked, that's pretty simple, right? Looks like a landing gear wheel, so there's your landing gear switch. Really hard to see without firing this up, but we have a couple of status indicators on each side of this navigational equipment, which is a Garmin in this case. But there's your indicators that show you all kinds of different things, either abnormal, emergency, or status of the aircraft. And if I come way over here, I've got another transponder, and I've got another navcom down here. Switch and status panels on the right side, or the right desk as they call it. And then all the way back, I'm going to tilt the camera. Those 4 red handles, you can see one of them is activated. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are my emergency systems. Brakes, gear, flaps, emergency override for all that. And a standard cockpit. Not a military cockpit. This is slightly different. It's fairly stock, but we have replaced some of the Czechoslovakian instruments with U.S. instruments, and you just heard Laura yawn
Sorry.
and now talk. Pretty basic. Just a quick video of an engine test run. So you'll see John Hammonds of Ultimate Aviation, who is helping me out today. And you'll see a couple of things going on. First, I'm running through an expanded checklist for the aircraft because this is an engine test run. So we're going a little bit slower than normal for an engine start. You're going to hear 3 different things happen. Number 1 is the ground power unit. That's that diesel-powered square thing over in the right lower corner. And that's probably the loudest part or the loudest thing you'll hear during this video. Then we go to the Sapphire start, which is the APU that I talked about, the auxiliary power unit inside the aircraft. That's also a small gas turbine engine. And finally, you'll hear the main engine start. Anyway, just to give you a quick view of the L-39 engine start. October 1st and 2nd, aviationroundup.com, the Minden Tahoe Airport, October 1st and 2nd, the Blue Angels, the Renegade Aviator, and a whole bunch of my friends. We'd love to see you. Come on out. There she is. If you hear voices in the background when I'm recording stuff, there's always somebody behind me. There she is. I asked Laura, is there anything she wanted to ask questions about, or when she saw the airplane, were there any questions she has? And what was the answer?
Not at this time.
No, not at this time. She doesn't care. A lot of people watching airplane videos may not give a flying rat's ass about what's in the aircraft. So you need to help guide me, guys and gals. If you see something you like or something you don't think or something you think is boring, let us know. Laura thinks a lot of what I do is boring. I just need to live my life. And anyway, so why am I wearing sunglasses inside of a hangar, inside of an airplane? Any ideas, Laura, since you're wearing sunglasses?
Your eyes are tired today.
My eyes are tired all the time. Watch. I look pretty cool now, right? This is pretty cool. Watch this. See? Back on again.
I'm wearing sunglasses too. Matching.
I look way better now. All right, so here we are sitting in the L-39. I hope this was interesting for you. Send me your questions, send me your comments. We love it because those of you that want to be aviators, you can see the back seat. There's a back seat in this thing. Those of you that want to be aviators, let's try to help you get there. And those of you that are experts and may have some really cool knowledge that the rest of my fans want to hear about, let me know that too. Maybe you'll say something that's interesting enough to make Laura like the show. Just like we say on the radio, this is David Costa. I am the Renegade Aviator. See ya.
Number 78, number 178.